back in Orlando for EXP Shareholders event, where we get the opportunity to speak 3 times this week. So it's going to be jam-packed, lots to do, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of my favorite speakers as well. Let's go check it out.
Does everybody know that their phone has a camera? You can use it not only for putting on makeup, but also making content. So we're going to shift today, ladies, okay? And for gents, it works for your hair too. So we've got a phenomenal panel here today. We're going to do things a little bit different. Do you guys like doing things differently? Yes. Only 4 people. Do you like doing things differently? Good, that's why you're at EXP. So today what we're going to do, it is a panel, but who thinks it's a snooze just to hear the same question answered 4 times? 3 people. Come on, guys. You got this. Let's do it again. Who doesn't like just hearing the same question answered 3 times? All right, so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to mix it up. We want to treat this like a mastermind. So we've got some wonderful masterminds here when it comes to video, and we are going to go through and tell you why we're on this stage today. However, for those of you in the room that are doing video, you have questions. You want to be on this stage one day, or at least have a channel or video that's bringing in the production that the people on this stage have. Am I right or am I right? Okay, so by a show of hands, who in here is already doing some form of video? I don't mean to successfully get you trying to some form of video. That's most of the room. Who in here has not started doing video yet? It's okay, you're in a room of safe people. Awesome, but you're here because you want to, right? All right, so what we're gonna focus on today is we're gonna tell you from where we started, not where we are. We're going to tell you where we are now. We're going to focus on where we started because we want you guys to be successful. So when it comes time for question and answer, we want you guys to ask questions that we can make sure we're masterminding with you to help you find a solution. Not just an answer, we want to actually dig in and help you find a solution. Does everybody like that idea?
Yeah.
There we go. Does everybody like that idea? Okay, so I'm going to keep doing this, by the way, because this is just what I do. I like hearing loud noises, all right? So we're going to get started. I want to go ahead and introduce our panel today. So if you don't know me, I'm Kayla Lindsay. I wish they put our tags up there, but if you guys want to follow me, it's my first and last name, Realtor. So at Kayla Lindsay Realtor. On everything. That's your first note for the day. Make it the same on everything so it's easy for people to find you. We've also got Levi Lascsak. Who knows Levi? Just a few people in here. So I'm going to let Levi introduce himself on what he does best, but he is a rock star at YouTube, as we all are. We also have Marty Pettyford. Go ahead and say hello, Marty. All right, so we have another rock star up here. If you get the gist, we're all really good at video, and we love being on stage, so this should be really fun. And last but not least, we've got Michael Dugal. Did I pronounce that right? Yes. So Michael's also going to talk about some of the details as to what makes him successful with video and people finding him. So we're going to go backwards. Michael, go ahead and start us off. Tell us a little bit about who you are, why you're on this stage.
Absolutely. So I'm Michael Dugal from Toronto, Canada. I've been in the business now for 10 years. Actually, I have a different story of how I landed on YouTube. These 2 superstars beside me actually got their license and immediately got into it, whereas I was following a prospecting-based approach, and then I added video on top of that. And for everyone here, that's really why I feel adding video specifically through YouTube can complement any real estate business, because you make your phone call, then you're touching up with video, and the next conversation is so much warmer. I was in the top 30 under 30 with Remax. I made the shift over to EXP 3 years ago, and the collaboration here, it's unbelievable, guys. So one thing that really has helped me to level up continuously from going to events is when you're hearing information, guys, speed to execution is key. If you're making notes, write that down, speed to execution. Go back home, don't implement everything, choose three for the next 90 days, go from there. Thanks.
Hi everyone, I'm Marty Pettiford. I am an agent in Atlanta, Georgia. I started my real estate journey in 2021 and I started YouTube right away. Within my first year of real estate, I was able to go from part-time to full-time using YouTube, and I brought in $100,000 in GCI my first year as a full-time realtor through YouTube.
Awesome.
My name's Levi Lascsak from Dallas, Texas. Is it just me, or do we all feel like a bunch of cats with bells around our necks? I don't know. Keep rattling, ringing. So the funny thing, I'm going to go back to 1999. Is that okay, real quick?
We're going all the way back.
Well, it's relevant because I grew up in a small town called Stephenville, Texas, a couple hours south of Dallas. No money, and the way country boys get out of the country is join the military. So I joined the military, got out after a couple of years, and I started my first job at Bally Total Fitness selling gym memberships with Michael Reese. Anybody know Michael Reese? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Before he got into real estate. And I remember in 2002 when he got into real estate, and he wanted me to get in at that time, but I never really wanted to be a real estate agent. So we kind of parted ways, and then he talked me into it in 2004 to get a license, and I actually did get licensed in 2004, but a week after I did, I was still in the reserves whenever I came home, and my captain called me and said, Levi, you're getting deployed, you leave in 4 days. And then I was gone for 18 months and spent a year of that in Iraq. So then I came home and really decided I still didn't want to be a real estate agent, so I avoided Michael, and for about 15 to 17 years. And I had a financial services business. I was very successful helping teachers on their retirement planning at schools. And I was working about 8 months of the year helping teachers and then traveling the rest of the year. So I was having a good time until 2020 happened and travel and schools shut down. So it's funny because Michael came back to me and was still trying to get me into real estate at that time. So we maintained a friendship, for the last 20 years, and he finally talked me into doing it. But the problem was I was 41 at that time.
That's not a problem, that's young.
Right. Well, the problem was I didn't want to start over. So I was asking myself, how do I start over without starting over? That was the question. One thing that I've always been good at sales, but that's always because I was the best prospector. And I was really kind of burnt out on prospecting. It scared me to death to think about starting over again from scratch at that age. I felt like 20 years had almost been erased. So
Can I ask the audience about that? Who here has started over completely? Can you guys relate to what this feels like? Right? Okay, so you're not alone here. I think we've all done it.
So that was it. So that's what I had to ask myself different questions is how do I start over without starting over? So if I was going to get into real estate, is there a way? Because Michael was talking to me about this agent attraction thing. So that made sense to me, but I was thinking, is there a way to attract real estate business? Because I was really scared to death about starting over, prospecting, shaking hands, kissing babies. Nothing wrong with that. But, and plus it was still during 2020, right? So that was still a little, kissing babies at that time was not, was not a good thing. So that's what caused me to start searching and researching and trying to figure out a way to attract business. The other problem, any 40-year-olds and above, well, you don't have to admit it, but we've got this love-hate relationship with social media. We didn't grow up with it. It wasn't there in high school. Probably came around in your late 20s. And then when we saw it, we're like, look, it's everybody bragging and posting their lunch, and it's silly cat videos.
And selfies because you don't have any friends.
Exactly, yeah. That's the bragging component. So I was very concerned at that time, too, because I had no social media presence. So that was something else I was really concerned about doing is how do I get involved in this? Because I watched all the 20 and 30-year-olds start to make money, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's something to the social aspect. So that's what launched in 2020, December 5th, decided to go all in on YouTube, focus on one platform, not trying to be on every platform, because if you do that, likely you'll put in 20% effort across 5 different platforms and never truly master one.
I can't say that again. Just write this down. I'm going to pick up a pen. Everybody actually have a pen? Raise your hand if you have a pen in your hand. If you don't, find one. Pick your friend's pen. Say it again.
A recommendation, if you haven't succeeded on any platform, try to pick one and go all in on that one platform. And once you master one, it'll be a lot easier to branch off in the others. But if you dabble in 5 different platforms, you're likely always going to put 20% effort into each of those platforms and never truly turn over business. So I just understood that ahead of time, and I thought I need to pick one platform, and chose YouTube, went all in, and that's what allowed us to have the success. In the first 2 years, we closed over 200 transactions, over 130 million.
If you guys got nothing out of that, the simplest form of that is what you focus on expands, right? You focus on one thing. I don't care if it's cold calling, then just do it, but do it all in. If it's just video, but go all in. If it's just door knocking, go all in. We all know someone that is either on YouTube or an agent that you know their thing because they went all in and they are now the expert of it. And that's where most of us fail, is because we dabble. Don't be a dabbler, be a doer. So that was fantastic, thank you. So why am I up here? So I've been in real estate 8 years. I've gone through that same path where I was like, wow, look at all these people. And they're putting selfies online. I don't understand this. You know, you don't have a friend that can take a picture of you? Like, you're always alone. I don't get that. I think we all get it now. But where the aha moment for me when it came to social media and video was people's perception. Write that down. It's the perception, right? When we're up on stage here, the perception you have of us is different. Not that we're better or anything of that nature. What I mean is we're on a stage. You guys have the power in your hand on a phone to put yourself on a stage in the presence of those that want to hear and listen to you. And where that aha came from was another agent in my office who was doing well, but I knew his numbers. We were good friends. But my perception of his business was that he was exploding. And the reason for that is because on social media every day he was posting, we showed a house, we put an offer on a house, we're under contract on a house, we went to an inspection on a house. It could be the same house, guys. I was an agent in his office, and even I was going, damn, dude, you were crushing it. He goes, I know, that one house has got to be so many hits. I was like, okay, I get it. This was years ago. So then I started to focus and get in on that and make sure that I was being consistent. So I was doing video, but what I wasn't doing is evergreen. Who here knows the word evergreen? All right, so for those of you that don't understand, so I was actually pointing this out today. We had this conversation today. Think of evergreen as you have a Christmas tree and you plant it in your backyard, right? You planted that tree one time and it's green all year long. Every time you look out your window, you see that beautiful green tree. 10 years from now, you can look out that window, as long as you water it, mine die. But as long as you look at that window, it's gonna be a green tree all year, every year, year after year. That's what YouTube is. You did the content one time. I get calls all the time, hey, I saw your video the other day on such and such. I'm like, damn, I put that out in July. You're just now seeing that. But it's because people are now in that mode of they want to move, they want to do something, and now they're seeing it, but that content is evergreen. So how did I start doing YouTube? Well, I was doing it for agent attraction and failing horribly because I had no system, right? I have a system. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. But I ended up, I'm gonna give a shout out to Veronica. I know she's not in here. Veronica Figueroa, I was coaching with her at the time, and I had just gotten pregnant. It was not a surprise we were planning this, but of course, once you do it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. How am I gonna do business, right? How am I gonna do business while pregnant? This is crazy. She said, you need to go see Levi's page. And I said, okay. So I went and I stalked his YouTube page and I copied literally everything. If he hops on my page, it's gonna be like verbatim, just like treated to like Charlotte, North Carolina. Like that's all I did. I did everything exactly the same. And then I found out he actually had a course. I was like, well, I'll do that too. And I pretty much had already copied everything, was getting leads. It was amazing. But the course really helped. But what I noticed was the more consistent I was, the more I got back. And what I would say the saving grace was in having this channel, I got to the point where I was 9 months pregnant. I broke my rib. I could not work. I had to be home. Who's showing houses with broken rib? Not me, but by the way, when I broke my rib, I had one more thing I had to film. So I did show the last house, and then I went home and I cried. But I was also pregnant, so then I was gonna be on maternity leave for several weeks, and I was on bed rest. I sold houses and picked up clients on bed rest without being on the phone for 3 months. Actually, technically 4 if you count the broken rib time. It was the saving grace for my business. I pre-recorded 8 or 9 videos, and I dropped down from posting 3 weeks, posting 1 a week, but I was keeping it going, and I kept getting clients, and nobody knew I was pregnant. Nobody knew I had a baby. All they knew was I was the one on YouTube that they watched that was selling houses in Charlotte. So think about how this can affect your life. Do you want to go on vacation for a month with your family?
Like, don't think about it, the dudes in the room are like, I'm not having a baby anytime soon, right? Think about how it can apply to your life and how you want to live it. This is the future. We're talking about technology a lot here. This is the technology that can help you get there. Be present, even when you're not. So stats, and I want to go back to you and talk about how you got into this, what that transformation was. When I started learning the analytics of how I could track who's watching and where and when. As of right now, my channel's only been active since July. But I have almost 950 subscribers, which is not a big deal. What's really the big deal is how many hours of watch time, which is 1,200 hours of watch time every 28 days. Y'all, that's almost 40 hours a day being consumed. There's not 40 hours in a day, in case you guys don't know that math, by the way. So it's impossible for me to make that many phone calls, but I'm making an impression. By the time they call me, they're like, no, you're my person. You're going on vacation? I'll meet you when you get back. I want to work with you. I want to work with your team. So start thinking about that in your head. What can you shift? So I want to go back to Michael. Michael, you had talked a little bit about, kind of your success in this. Tell us what really got you into YouTube and what that uptick was. Like, what did that look like for everybody in the room that's getting into this?
Yeah, great. And I love the point about the evergreen videos. So when I started getting on videos, just following a very simple schedule, everyone can follow this, 2 videos a month. And having a balance between evergreen videos and then time-sensitive videos. So how do we create evergreen videos? I would take some of the questions that your clients are often asking you, make a video. Something that we of course go on listing presentations. Why not add to our pre-listing package questions you should ask when you're interviewing agents? And then you can favor the questions to your liking. If you're a new agent, you don't want them asking you how long have you been in the business. You can ask them, are you a listing agent or are you a buyer's agent? So that was an evergreen video that worked well for me. And then speaking of time-sensitive content, specifically around COVID, it was great. People wanted updates all the time. I had a thumbnail where I was wearing a mask in the thumbnail with the shocked emoji. Like, what's going on? And then I made a video, how to purchase a property during COVID. And then what happened was agents were sharing that as well. So having that balance is good. I think, can I get a show of hands? How many people do we have in this room that are over 5 years licensed? Okay, great. So a big mistake that I see experienced real estate agents making is just putting their YouTube video there and expecting leads to come from it. You want to be emailing the video out. The first hour after you release a video, that's when the YouTube algorithm is going to decide if this is a video that they should push. So as soon as you release it, send it out. If you participate on WhatsApp chats, get it out there on your chats, email it out to your database. I have like 5,000 emails I send it to. You want to get all the emails there, local mortgage brokers, attorneys, right, agents that you've previously done deals with. That's going to help. And by emailing it out, you're going to convert. See, this is the trick, because I was like many of you here, made 3 months worth of videos, didn't generate 1 lead, until somebody told me, email the videos out, look at the analytics. A lot of people here use MailChimp, that's free, and call the people that have clicked on the video. It's not that many people. Probably you send the email to 1,000 people, 20 people will click. Call those people. Ask them what you can do to support them with their real estate needs. And the first time I did that, 1 hour making calls, so I happened to call somebody, I didn't know who he was, didn't know how he was on my email list. He invited me to list his property, sold it full pop because he knew me. And that's the power of YouTube over Instagram and TikTok and hiding behind pictures or voiceovers. YouTube, you're speaking for several minutes. They already know who you are. Present yourself. Show the seller. I'm going to be wearing a tie when I'm at a listing presentation. I'm in Toronto. It's a pretty high-end market. The average price is over $1 million. Plus, I look so young. Of course, I'm going to dress up, right? So then, when I'm meeting with them, it's a short presentation. It's easy. It's leverage. It's building your credibility. Them seeing you as the authority. So that's how I got into it. And if you look on my channel, people know me as the consistent agent. I've been on YouTube actively posting for 7 years straight. 2016. So have that accountability. Don't overcommit. That's why I think 2 videos a month is a good practice. It's not overkill. You can send it out to your sphere. They're expecting it. But the really great thing about emailing your videos out is you will get referrals. I've had some people on my email list that have emailed the video out to 20 of their coworkers. So if you're not getting referral business, that's something to consider. And hope that was helpful, guys.
I love that. So before we move on, I think there's a ton of nuggets to unpack there. Do you guys agree with that? So I think one of them is you did the video and then we expect instant gratification. Who's instant gratification here? I'm raising my own hand. I'm a part of this pool, right? The instant gratification that we want from making the effort. It's like when we make one phone call, we're like, they said no, what the heck, right? By the way, I'm really holding back right now. So for those who know me. So you're sitting there going, I made this video, no one's getting back to me right now. How do I tweak it?
Don't look at the views. One way to give up very easily is look at the views on YouTube, and you will get the lowest number of views out of every platform.
Don't watch a pot boil.
Oh yeah,
right?
no, and even the number of subscribers. We're looking for deals, so you have to remind yourself about that all the time. If you want to be a celebrity and hit 100,000 subscribers, make a video, make a YouTube channel where you're telling the audience what you thought about a movie, or you're going over song reviews, or Justin Bieber. Talk about those things. But this is real estate. We're here to generate leads, so just be very clear on that. Because if you're building a channel for the sake of your ego, you won't generate leads.
Well, and I think the other thing that you pointed out, who has issues with finding a topic of what to video, right? What do I video? What should I put out? What do people want to hear? You had pointed that out very simply. What are your clients asking you, right? You guys have answered the same question about earnest money 1 million times, right? Or in our market, due diligence, which no one else has apparently. Why am I giving this money? Where is this happening? Make a video about it, send it out. Because guess what? So many people have challenges in our industry of, well, should I send the recipe card for a bundt cake or chili? No one wants recipe cards. They want information, they want value. This is a way to leverage giving value to people in your database, and they can consume it when they want it. But guess what? I ask this to everybody and every time I've ever coached. How many of you guys are getting emails from a company, any company, that comes to your inbox, probably almost once a day, at least once a week, but you don't unsubscribe because you know one day you'll need their stuff and you know that they email you all the time? Guess what? You could be that person in someone's inbox. How cool would that be? So keep sending it out. That was fantastic. Thank you. Tell us a little bit about, just move on to Marty. Tell us about when you got into YouTube, when you got into doing video. What did that look like? What was causing you to make that transition into it and then focus on it?
So when I initially got my license, my husband, he is a YouTuber. So I didn't have a choice. He was like,
Oh, there we go. You came into it honestly.
I did. He was like, this is how you're gonna get leads. This is how, I know this is the future and this is what we're doing. I said, okay, I guess. So there was a question that was proposed to me one time, like, what would it look like if it looked easy? And my answer to that, well, I would just put out content and people would call me. And they're like, okay, do it. So that's essentially how YouTube came about. So we first started, my husband does all my photography and video stuff, but my first video I did myself on my iPhone with a gimbal. I was just talking to the camera. I do a lot of home tours on my channel, and I started off in a new construction neighborhood. So this is what I did research before. So I Googled popular builders in my area, and this builder came up. And I noticed they didn't have any content on it. And they had a model home. There was no information on it except for the picture on their website. So I'm like, I'm gonna go to this model home, I'm gonna film it. So I did my research, and I had a good feeling, like, people are looking for this. They're selling multiple neighborhoods in my area. This has to be, something that people are looking for. So I went with my gimbal, my camera, and I just talked about the house before I went inside. Like, quick introduction. I'm gonna show you inside this home, the specs of the home, and I did the tour. It was a little shaky, but it was okay. And then after I gave my thoughts on the home and what was my favorite room, just so something, just to put out something that people could relate to. I posted the video, and it's my most viewed video. All the calls that I got from that video was like, hey, I want this house's floor plan. And turns out this was when the market was crazy, that floor plan was not available. So I had to, redirect them to other builders, other floor plans.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys maybe got a little intimidated. You're like, well, her husband's an editor. Of course she's getting these leads, right? Her most popular, the one that brought in the most business, was her being completely candid with her phone walking a new construction house. Model homes, they're beautifully decorated, right guys? Wow, you guys got some really bad model homes in your area. Mine look bougie as hell. You guys have really nice looking model homes in your areas, right? Use that. They want you to walk it. They want you to sell their inventory. And it works. You don't need fancy editing to do this. I just want to point that out to everybody because I know some people get a little bit held back from wanting to do it because it's not perfect. So that's fantastic.
And I edited that video myself too. So that's always my like trophy. Like that's my video. But yeah, that's how we started off. And I started out doing 1 video a week. I know you said 2 videos a month, but we were doing 1 new video a week because we have so much new construction in my area where I had tons of model homes to choose from. And the most essential part was me being in the video in the front. And it turned out from, you know, it elevated from me being like doing selfie with a gimbal to myself to me being filmed, talking about the home and the features and doing aerial views and voiceovers. And just the quality of those videos, number one, the builders loved it. It gave me leverage when I came back with my clients. Then, don't worry, I know the builder. I can get you past the wait list. We got many homes like that. And then that was my value proposition because I know all the builders in the area. I build great relationships with them and I can get you into your new construction home fast. And I said that in every video. And it's just elevated from there.
That's fantastic. Who got some great nuggets from that? Yes. Yes. I love it. So now, Levi, coming to you about shoots. I know you are, you know, we've been doing this for a while now, so you have a videographer that comes around. By the way, next time you come around, smile, okay? So get a good side. You do have that now, but when you first started, it was not that. So what were your first few videos? How did you put that together? How did you figure out what content you were going to use, and what did you film on?
Yeah, I still use an iPhone 11 Pro till this day. So the next.
You use Samsung, okay?
I don't know about that. I don't think Samsung. I don't think the Samsungs work, but no. So what's funny is that, I mean, most people might trade in their old phone or try to turn it in for a credit or something like that, but they were only going to give me $100 anyway. So I just kept that dead phone, so to speak, and it's an iPhone 11 Pro. The reason I say Pro is because it has a wide-angle camera on it, and you want to flip that around so you have that wide angle on you, and you never have to worry about being out of the picture. Because it's going to capture not just you, also it won't make you so big. You ever see people's videos where their face takes up about 2/3 of the screen? So they're usually using the front-facing camera. But if you use the back end of it, it makes it very simple. And I have a $20 selfie stick it's actually a $20 tripod called Ulanzi, you know, some out-of-country brand. Yeah. I mean, and that holds it so, and then I have a $100 microphone. It's a Shure MV88 that plugs directly to an iPhone, so there's no battery or Bluetooth or anything like. It's a little miniature boom mic, and it turns out great quality. But going back to one of the first videos, what's funny is our most viewed video, it's 104,000 views now, and it's almost 2 years old, but it's still climbing. It's still our most viewed video. I was just showing Travis the stats last night. I was like, it's still our #1 video, 2 years old, still gaining. You can even see in the analytics, like it keeps getting upticks and like growing more. And to me, it's one of my most favorite because I made it with Travis, and we had a good time. But I was actually making a video in my house, and he walked in, like just barged in my front door like Urkel, you know, and or Kramer maybe. Maybe the crowd's too young for Urkel. Yeah, I came in like Kramer and interrupted me, and then I hooked up a microphone on him, but what I didn't know at the time is we were trying to be fancy with these lav mics, and they had frequencies on them, and I didn't understand that they're on the same frequency, and what that did was it stripped my audio from my mic, and it took his, so then through most of the video, my audio's terrible. And the lighting's bad because we were using a window, and like overcast is happening, and so everything's changing. But yet, that's the video that continually climbs more and more and gets more views and brings us more subscribers, more calls, and everything else. And as far as a production standpoint, it's my least favorite. But we had a lot of fun, and a lot of people will comment, oh, they don't notice. The thing is nobody's commented your audio sucks. Nobody has ever commented your lighting's off, or you look funny, or your left eyebrow is giant, you know? So don't point that stuff out to your audience. You know, if I would have said in the middle of that, oh my God, the light's changing, you know, it's something we talk about with our team, right? Don't ever show your cards. Yeah. Just hold them, you know, close to your chest. You know,
it's supposed to be happening.
Yeah. So if something starts to happen, just Okay, just roll with it. Don't point it out, because if you do have a giant left eyebrow, and I apologize to anybody with a giant left eyebrow, just don't point that out, right? Because then everybody will notice it. The thing is likely most people won't notice it. So still use an iPhone 11. We only hired a videographer about a year into the journey whenever we wanted to step up and do property tours, and we were getting more listings and also touring multi-million-dollar properties. Probably we just didn't really want the same look as walking through with an iPhone. I think you could still do it, and I think there's some people that have done it that are still successful that way. We just wanted kind of a different look. So I wouldn't upgrade anything until you've got the monetary opportunity to do that. But you can simply do that with what you have right now. But I do believe you do need a good microphone, and you can get that anywhere from $50 to $100. So make the investment, get a little selfie stick. It gives you some distance on yourself. Turn that camera around, and you'll be just fine. The thing is that you do this every single day. If I went into your market right now to buy a home, I hope and pray every single one of you could tell me about the neighborhood, could tell me about the area, what's going on, what's happening. And you do that every single day with the clients. The difference is when you go home, that conversation is gone. It's lost forever with that one person. You have to wake up and start over and do that again the next day. So for me, getting started, I wasn't scared of the camera, but I had to learn how to have a conversation with the camera. Because
As if there's someone
I was used to interacting, seeing hand gestures and head shakes and nods and interruption and questions, because I'd been in sales for 20 years. So that wasn't, and everyone in here talks to clients every single day. You don't have a problem with it. But when you're in a room by yourself, most likely, staring at a camera that does nothing, it's kind of like, okay, all right.
You got to learn to laugh at
Yeah.
Imagine there's someone on the other side. That's a helpful.
Yeah. And that's what I do. So if you look at an iPhone, this is what I say, is that whenever I turn that around, to me that looks like a face. It looks like two eyes and a nose. It's Mickey Mouse, right? So I'm having a conversation with my camera, and whenever I'm holding that out, it's almost like I've got my arm around my best friend, walking him through the neighborhood or something. And sometimes you've got to play these little mind games with yourself to say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to pretend like somebody's right beside me and we're walking down the street about to go into this home I'm going to show them. And you do this every single day. But again, with a live person, it's gone. But when you do that on a camera, now when you go home and upload that, you're giving the opportunity to have that conversation, not just with one person, but maybe 10, maybe 30, 50, 100, or like on our videos, thousands and thousands. And we just hit over 2 million views on the channel. Woo-hoo. Think about it. How could you reach 2 million? And that's not even the impressions, that's the actual view count. So the impressions is into the 20 million plus, which means YouTube has placed our thumbnail in front of at least 20 million in the last 2 years. Think about how powerful that is. There's no way we would have scaled or been able to do the amount of business that we've done in the last couple of years if we weren't on video.
And it's business on your time now, right? Because you don't get a phone call and go, hey, Levi, can you meet me out at this house at 7:30 p.m. on a Monday to do a video for me? No, I'm doing a video. Yeah, you're doing that. That's what you do with a buyer or a seller, right? When it's not planned, because you're like, yeah, I got to get the business. Instead, it's I'm scheduling it on this day at this time. This is when I'm doing it, and then the business will come, and you can actually leverage that time. That's fantastic. I also want to point out, because you only need a phone, I've never used a mic, because Samsung has a great microphone. Anybody who's got Samsung? Yes, I hear you. Microphones do help a lot, though, especially if you're around road noise.
That's because they don't make microphones for Samsung.
The apps are a little bit, but it's okay. So that's great information. Everybody get good content from that? Get good nuggets? Levi wasn't perfect when he started. We never are. My first YouTube video was posted back in 2018, my first ever. It's on my other channel, Kayla Lindsay, for Agent Attraction. And it was a video on why I joined EXP from Keller Williams. And I think it's still climbing. It's got like 45,000 views or something. I haven't been on that channel in a long time. But it was my first one, and the lighting is terrible. The audio is fantastic. The lighting was terrible. I didn't really know how to edit, so I kind of tried to do a one-hit wonder on it, right? So, question for you guys, because I think this comes up a lot. How many of you guys are scared of posting a video because you made mistakes while you're recording? or you want it to look better than the one-hit wonder. Raise your hands, then I'll hire. I got like these little things happening all the way up, all the way up. All right, so the rest of you are just like rocking and rolling and just posting stuff. Is that what we're assuming here? All right, so one thing I do want to share is a little bit of leverage, all right? You do not have to do your editing and thumbnails yourself. Now, if you are like me, I'm great at putting out content, but I get really tied up in the minutia of making it perfect. It's better to have someone that does that. You have options. You might be thinking, Kayla, I'm not gonna go interview virtual assistants, that's just not my jam. The simplest way to do that when you're starting, if you don't want to put in that kind of effort or money, Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. Thumbnails, video edits, you name it, they can do it for you. Levi also has a company, which I'm sure he can put a little point in on, that they do the edits. They can update it, upload it for you. Find what you guys are good at, right? How many of you guys have a transaction coordinator in here? Why? Because we're real estate agents and we hate paperwork, right? I hate paperwork, I can't stand it. I won't even fill out a listing agreement. I'm like, can we do that tomorrow? It takes 5 minutes. Do that and leverage your editing, leverage your thumbnails. All you need to do is send them raw content. If you don't even know how to put it together or what you want it to look like, just go make it pretty, all right? And after that, start coming up with what you really want it to look like, and then make sure you're telling them what you want it to look like. In case you didn't know, people can't read your mind. So if they're doing terrible editing, maybe tell them what you want it to look like. That's another key piece. So, what time do we have? We have 10 minutes. All right, are you guys ready to go to the audience? Is that cool? All right, so I'm gonna stand up so I can see you guys. So the biggest thing I wanna do, again, this is more mastermind style, so if everybody's got ideas on this, if you've done video, shout it out. All right, so we're gonna do the first 2 ones with like hands raised, and then we're gonna literally start a yelling competition. All right, so first question, we've got this gentleman right here. Say your name. Wilmer. Say it again. Wilmer. Wilmer, stand up, Wilmer. All right, give us in your biggest voice possible. Nope, we've got a microphone. Don't yell in the microphone. Go for it.
So my question is, I started a YouTube channel. I did it mostly in Spanish for our Spanish community. 80% of my clients are Spanish, but then I have 30% who are English, and they say, I love it, but I don't understand anything. So this year I started to do both the same in Spanish and English. Is that a good idea? Do you think I should stick to what I started?
I wouldn't, in my opinion, I wouldn't change it. I would keep doing what you're doing, but add subtitles to everything you're doing, perhaps. That would be my key change, especially if 80% of your business, you said, is already Spanish speaking.
Yes.
Then go ahead and add subtitles for your content, because they obviously love the content. That would be my advice, but you guys would have something different.
My advice would be to start a separate channel, and that way you can create a whole another target audience with your English speaking, and then you can have your other ones for Spanish speaking. You can grow both.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I second the statement about the subtitles. So on YouTube, it should automatically make the English subtitles, or you can just hire a VA to put the subtitles in for you. There's a specific file you can do that. Making a second channel, then you could overall just lose the like everything that you've built in that channel, because the algorithm of YouTube loves longevity. And as you keep on building it, they see you as that real estate resource. So hopefully that could address it. But if the audience is that small of your English population, I would maybe just consider making a video, put it on your YouTube channel, leave it unlisted, and send out to those people. Just a thought.
That's a good idea. Levi?
I think it's a very tough question. I mean, because I think if you start a channel in English and you speak Spanish, is it Spanish? Yeah, Spanish. So I've seen Spanish-only channels do extremely well, and I know, several creators that do that. So, but if you start an English channel, most Spanish people are going to pick up on the accent, or they're going to understand you speak Spanish, and so you could still catch those clients as well. I feel like one language on one channel is probably the best route, because also 2 channels is twice the work, but it also, yeah, exactly, right? So I think you just have to find a balance. Now, if I jumped onto a Spanish channel with subtitles, I would probably not stay there. So you have to think about that. If you start attracting some English audience, they might start bouncing. So you might start having lower view durations, something like that. And now if you mix in English, could be vice versa. Somebody Spanish goes there. For us, we have Spanish speakers on our team. And so like on our banner, we put, we speak Spanish. So that's another indicator to let people know. But most of the time, people that speak Spanish are searching on YouTube in Spanish, right? And people that speak English are searching on YouTube in English. So in that case, I mean, like I said, it's a tough question to answer. I think you really have to decide which route you want to go. So if you've already started to combine the two, it's really tough. But maybe you just break off another channel. I'm not sure. I'll play around it and see how it does. Moving forward with you combining the two.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. That's great. All right, we had some other. We're gonna go all the way where there was pink collar. Pop.
Hey, my name is Candace Auger, and I'm EXP Nashville. So we do a lot of videos together, but we just started. But could you tell us the journey that your YouTube video takes? So you film it, it's edited, it looks wonderful. Now, what's the best way to distribute it? What's your system for getting the most views, getting it out there? I'm really love to know any systems, or I know you said email.
So quick question for you, because there was, I feel like, two parts in there. Was one of them how we're framing the video in itself, like from our intro to what we're talking about, or just distribution?
Just distribution. Just what's your system to get the most views or the most clicks? Like how do you, I have no problem doing my hair, getting the, whatever, acting like an idiot, done, and then I have it, and then I'm like, okay, now I know how to put it on YouTube, but I'm like, I know there's ClickFunnels, you can email it, you can put it on Facebook, you can send it out ads, all the meta physics, I think,
So I love this. So I think one of the first things is you got the first part on, which is you had the content, right? That's where most people kind of trip. So you've got the content and you get it onto YouTube. I think the first thing, I think you guys will probably attest to this too, utilize every opportunity given to you in YouTube. If there is something that is left blank, fill it in. So I know you could probably speak to this, talk a little bit about chapters and hashtags and all that, because there's so much in YouTube that you can actually utilize.
Yeah, I mean, I think you want to focus on the keywords, the search terms, optimizing your channel. The reason YouTube gives you, if they give you a blank on the back end, it should be filled in. And sometimes you can go to videos and you'll see, not much in the description, no hashtags, no tags, anything like that. I mean, there's a reason YouTube gives you 5,000 characters in the description, is because they want you to tell YouTube really what that video is about. If you think about an algorithm, everybody likes the word algorithm, it reads words and letters. So by actually writing a description in there, which could be a short paragraph or two, and spelling out what your video is about is going to help the keywords in the search. So whenever somebody types in, what's it like to live in Dallas, Texas, if that's in your description, you're saying that in your video, which by the way, YouTube transcribes your videos automatically. That's how they add the captions to it. So that goes into the algorithm. Plus even something as the file name. A lot of people don't understand this. When you download a video and it gives you that, the date, like 12, 25, 36 or whatever, .mov or MP4, that's how people upload it into YouTube. But you should actually put living in Dallas, Texas, or moving to Dallas, Texas, or change that file name to relate more to that, because even the file name is something that it's looking for. So when somebody types that in, and so you have to tell YouTube what your video is about. And so filling that all in. Hashtags are not as a big deal on YouTube, but they still help. So anywhere from 3 to 5 in there should be okay. Geotagging it, the thumbnails, and then also in the location. A lot of people will leave the location. You have to scroll down when you're uploading a video and look at all those little blanks. So we've even pinpointed to the neighborhood, like Windsong Ranch in Prosper, Texas. You start typing that in, and YouTube will pull up that neighborhood, and that geotags and it positions that video to that area. And so that way, if anybody searches Windsong Ranch, Prosper, Texas, again, that's another component you're telling that video. We're starting to experiment a little bit with email. That's something we've never done. But as I see it, I see a lot of big YouTubers that I follow. They all email out their videos and things like that. So it's something that I think you want to experiment with different methods. We've never really shared it on other platforms. I do believe in platform psychology, which I don't believe a lot of people say, hey, honey, it's time to buy a house. Let's go see what's on the market on Facebook. Or, hey, honey, it's time to buy a house. Let's go see who's posting really cool market reports on Instagram. Or, hey, honey, it's time to buy a house. Let's see who the best dancing real estate agent is on TikTok. So I don't believe that's how most people search for homes. They say, hey, honey, it's time to buy a house. What's it like to live in Georgia or Dallas or Toronto? So let's go search that on YouTube. Remember, people on YouTube are intentional. They're actually typing things in to find the answers they're looking for.
This goes back to what we were talking about earlier, what you specifically mentioned, which was hyper-focus on something, right? If you hyper-focus and make sure you're doing everything you possibly can within YouTube, and if anybody has never downloaded this, TubeBuddy, it's a little it's a piece that you can use that'll help you optimize your actual titles and your keywords and things of that nature. It helps tell you what your SEO looks like. Search engine optimization, for those who don't know this logo, or, oh my gosh, I'm gonna try my words again. Don't know what that means yet. Search engine optimization, it's just about the words that you use and use them over and over and over. What would you guys like to share with us? Yes, please.
Great question. So, with the videos, the way you want to optimize it is think about, even before you shoot the video, what is my thumbnail and what is my title going to be?
Great, yes.
And I know that for the next 2 weeks. So when the stats came out, I wrote, a few months back, I said, this is the vision. The title is going to be the biggest price drop in history. It wasn't the biggest price drop, maybe by a day, if you look at the stats. But then you can make the video according to that, because if you're going to track one analytic, which is important, and watch Levi's content, he can give you the whole back end, because you have to learn this, you got to commit, right? It's CTR, that's click-through rate, and that's the percentage of people that are actually clicking on your video as they're searching. And one way you can draw a lot of attention is to have catchy thumbnails and catchy titles. And with that platform too, buddy, it will show you all these details. Like, we know opening our eyes this much in our thumbnail gets more views. Making your picture somewhat large, not too large, but making it big enough you can see 3 to 5 words in the thumbnail. And with respect to the post-release process, I think this is important. I'm trying new things. I'm actually, now what we do the day prior to a video coming out is we put the thumbnail and the title on an Instagram story saying coming soon. And then tomorrow, and then the following day thereafter that, as soon as the video is launched, it goes out by email, it goes around the platforms. We don't actually put a commercial anymore. We tried putting like a 15-second insertion of the YouTube video onto our Instagram, but we found that people stop watching. They will often watch because of the crazy thumbnail of our eyes being open like this, right? But I do have my process for the post-release process. If you message me on Instagram, YouTube, I don't mind setting that up. Because it is important, yeah.
I hope you guys write that down, because there's a plan. Does everybody notice that we all have a plan when we're making the video, where it's going and how we're doing it, and we repeat it over and over and over again? Nobody. We have not been clear up here today. Does everybody see that there's a plan that we put together before? Okay. Please talk to us just a little bit, because I'd love to hear and I know we're probably going
So you talked about search engine optimization, that like if you're not doing that with your channel, you are just wasting your time making videos. That's the most important part. So when I use vidIQ, but it helps you look in on your competition, see what kind of tags they're using. So I'm going to competitors in my area, they're gonna have videos. They don't have no kind of search engine optimization at all. So before you make your videos, like you said, do your research, type into vidIQ or TubeBuddy. For me, I would do Locust Grove Realtor. I'm looking for keywords that are gonna be low competition, high volume search. So that is the formula. And then you make your videos surrounding those. And a lot of mistakes I see people use are using broad terms like home tours or first-time home buyers. You want to niche it down to your market. So what I do is home tours in Atlanta, new construction in Atlanta, not just new construction, because I'm targeting an audience, either they live in Atlanta or they want to move to Atlanta. And most of my clients are relocation, wanting to move to Atlanta.
Love it. I love it. Guys, was this helpful? I know we have a few more. I was going to say, I know we have a few more questions in the audience. However, we are being ushered because we are going over onto the next slot. But what I would love for you guys to do, we have, oh yay, they put it up.
I want to show one thing.
Please do. And while you're sharing, up on the screen, there's QR codes. Follow all of us. Please feel free to direct message us or PM us or DM us, all DM us, and ask us questions. We're here to help. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We do have good news. If you go to EXP, we're gonna have to beat them now. Go to EXP, everyone's got their phone, exp.passiveprospecting.com, exp.passiveprospecting.com. they have decided to partner with Passive Prospecting and offer an exclusive opportunity for EXP agents.
Guys, write that down. PassiveProspecting.com. Well worth your time, well worth your effort. You guys, before we leave, we need to beat the room next to us. I want everybody to stand up, get some energy.